Alrighty, hello friends. No music today. I'm just not feeling it. I can't write every day. I can't play songs every day because I'm gonna run out of songs soon, and I really need to catch up on my writing and learning some covers. I have plenty of covers left, but I'm telling you, I've already used like 4 of my originals. I got like 8 left that I'd be willing to play. So today I'm gonna do what I think the kids are calling a vlog these days. I just wanted to do a fun stream of consciousness video about an experience I've had and an opinion I have on the music industry. Again, something I've been out of for about 2 or 3 years, but I'm making a solid attempt to hop back in with the music videos here, and I'm playing. I have a group together, me and Tom McIntyre, and we're still looking for a bass player. We are the Oppenheimer Orchestra, so that's our name. That's what we're going with. So I'm in a group. We're writing and we're getting ready to do some stuff. So with all this being said, and getting back into playing again and trying to work more, I've just been putting a lot of thought into things I experienced my first time in the music industry, things I may have done poorly or wish I'd done better, or just shit I've observed, funny stories. So today I kind of want to share a story and tie it into how I feel about soundmen. Soundmen are, and I'm sure any musician would know this, they are the unsung heroes for the most part. There's some that get love, but they're the unsung heroes of our industry, of any musical show, of anything. Anytime you hear a sound, whether it's a song, a commercial soundtrack, video game music, stand back, door closing on the subway, a sound engineer made that. The same guy who can produce a fucking Blink-182 record can do the stand back, door closing. That could happen, They are some of the most multi-talented people that music sees. They're computer whizzes as well as artists. The skill set needed to be a really good sound man is crazy. And I don't think people remember that enough. Or I think artists, and let's all be honest, artists can be a little uppity. Artists think that I'm the center of this and everything revolves around me. But that is absolutely not the fucking case. It's an ecosystem. We all work together to create one thing. It just so happens that the people on stage to the public, everything revolves around them, and that's totally fine, and that's how it should be. At a show, the audience revolves around who's performing, and the audience shouldn't have to think about sound men and photographers and choreographers. That's fine. Audiences don't have to recognize that or realize that or be keen to that. But if you're an artist and you're regularly working, that's how you have to treat it. You could be super duper rock star on stage. You could be like, oh yeah, we're fucking, lead Beatles. We're out here rocking and rolling. That's cool. Bring the attention to you. But when you're backstage or it's, before a show, anything where you're not in front of an audience, you're on a level playing field, and you should be, and you should treat them, and they should treat you the same. It should go both ways. Everybody involved in the production of a show, from the talent, from the sound men, from the photographers, to the lighting people, they all deserve equal respect. And that doesn't happen. I see it happen so often. Sound men especially, because of how much responsibility falls on their shoulders. And I want to tell a story about when I was on tour with Wise Eyes that completely, I think, proves my point. Well, not proves, it's an example of my point. We were out, it was the Empath tour, for people who are familiar with Wise Eyes. If you're not, we were a band based out of Bowie. They'd been together for, now it's been 10 years, but when I joined it was about 7 years. I was a fan beforehand, and I was lucky enough to get picked up by them when they lost their first bass player. So they had, they had an established audience and shit, and went out and toured. You could check them out on Facebook and shit. But their second record, Empath, I did with them, and it was a super fun experience. I'll talk about that one another time. But we were out. There was 6 of us who went out on the road. So 4 people in the band. Myself playing bass, Sean Moore on guitar, Brett Cetera on lead guitar, and then Tyler Cetera, his brother, on drums. We had Carl Ambrosia, who, if you listen to my podcast, The Static Sweetness, he is one of our regular contributors. He was merch guy, roadie, he did everything. And you know what? That's another guy, too. Your roadies and the people loaded in, loaded out. Like, Jackson Brown cannot be the only one who respects them. They do just as much. And then, of course, our 6th man, sort of the center of this story here, and a guy I have a lot of love and respect for, and I hope he watches, because I miss you, Seth, Mr. Seth Donaldson. He was our sound man, engineer, fucking tour manager. He ran that tour. He made things livable for us. He kept us together, kept us going forward on a pretty straight and professional path. But one particular night in San Antonio, this was near the end of the tour, he really, really showed us what he's all about and why, you know, people in his position deserve the utmost fucking respect. So we were playing at this place called the 505, I think, yeah, in San Antonio. We ended up midway through this tour that our San Antonio show kind of got scrapped, and this one band, Roshi, who we ended up playing with that night, hooked us up. They're like, "Oh, we got another gig for you over here." We didn't have time to promote it. We were like, "Shit, this will probably be, probably be playing to bartenders, whatever, it happens." And we're like, "Okay, cool, we'll just go play the show." So we get there, and it was 3 bands on the bill. This band, I can't even remember their names, us, and then Roshi. And we get there, and it's like, holy shit. There was a fair amount of people there who were ready to listen to some music, too. Like, it had a built-in audience. There were people who probably go and hang out there. It seemed like a pretty young, hip crowd that were really excited to be there and just didn't really care who was playing. They were just happy that someone was playing. So, moving forward, the first band that goes up are very young. Like, they gotta be 17 or 18 years old. And they're fucking assholes. Like, not even gonna sugarcoat it here. They were needy, pretentious, thought they were way more important than they were assholes, who maybe brought 10 people out to see them, which, great. That probably makes you feel good when you're 18, but that's not shit. And it does not make you important. And those 10 people were 18 too. They're not spending any money at the bar, so you've literally done nothing. There was no cover. So you've done nothing to help. You've helped yourself. You haven't helped the venue. You've helped nobody else out. So fuck you guys. But they went up there with shitty equipment. The drummer had a drum kit, which was fine. The bass player had this tiny little fucking practice amp that was about the size of my laptop, folded out. Like, it was one of those, I can't even remember the brand, but you know which one I'm talking about, the practice amps that we all had at one point. They don't put out a lot of output, even if you mic them up. Or if you turn them up all the way, you don't get the bass tone that you need. You can't play shows or practice amps unless you're playing at a tiny little fucking place that holds 10 or 12 people. But this asshole, nah, he didn't give a shit. He's going to bring up his little practice amp and expect the sound man to do shit. So anyway, I heard beforehand the sound man and these kids kind of arguing. And the sound man, admittedly, kind of a grumpy old man. But a lot of sound guys are, because they deal with so much shit. Especially the old ones who have been in this business for 30 or 40 fucking years. How many bands have they seen come and go thinking they're going to be the next big thing? And they're not. So I can understand the grumpy old sound man. He's seen a lot of shit. They're probably pretty cynical. But yeah, he was just, he was definitely being rubbed the wrong way by these kids. So, but whatever, we got them set up. They started playing. Whatever. It was going to pass. They get halfway through their set, and this fucking douchebag on the bass guitar starts talking into his microphone, which, again, this is such a goddamn no-no. He starts talking into his microphone to the sound man saying, "Hey, my bass sounds like shit. Make it sound better. Turn it up." You don't fucking do that. See, there's nothing wrong with, just a quick "Hey, sound man, give me a turn up." Like, if you're going to talk to the sound man through your mic, if you don't have any way to communicate with them without going into the microphone, just do it quick, make your point, or get his attention. Just get his attention. It's okay. Usually there's somebody who can run for them, or a member of your band. If we had an issue, and if Seth was, working the console or something, be like, "Hey, Carl, can you go tell Seth to turn the bass up or something?" And he comes back to us. Don't throw your sound man under the bus. It's so shitty. But this kid, in all of his infinite musical wisdom, decides to talk shit to this veteran sound man at what's probably this kid's 3rd or 4th fucking show. And I just see his eyes blow up. And I was like, shit. And we have to play next, too. So we have to deal with a grumpy sound man. A grumpier sound man. So this guy walks over to this fucking kid. Fast walking, too. Or as fast as this old guy can get moving. And gets right up to the side of the stage and goes, "Shut the fuck up. Don't tell me how to do my fucking job." So if a sound man's talking to you like that, you're done. There's you're not getting him back. And you don't deserve to get him back either. So the rest of the set, this kid, it starts talking shit about the sound man between every single song. And nobody's laughing. Nobody thinks it's funny. Not even their friends who they brought thought it was funny. But this kid is just absolutely unloading on this sound man who's done absolutely nothing wrong. You're the dumbass who brought a practice amp. And I won't even talk, because the guitar player and drummer, they're actually very nice. Again, they didn't bring the right equipment either, but they weren't talking shit. So, they finished their set, right? And apparently during one of the exchanges, the sound man said something like, I've been doing this for 30 years, asshole. Like, don't tell me how to do my job. So the set's finished, they're all packing up, the sound man comes around to the side, not saying anything to him, like he's just, whatever, he probably just wants him off the stage and to move on with his life. And this little shit turns to him and goes, 30 years in the business? That's bullshit. I thought that this 50-some-year-old sound man was going to grab this kid by his fucking throat and throw him off the stage. I swear to God I thought that was going to happen. But he didn't. Thank God. Probably would have gone to charge. But again, he said again, get the fuck out of my stage. Get the fuck out of here. He kicked them out of the bar. And I believe he had the authority to do that because nobody questioned it. Those 3 children, namely that bass player, not only fucked themselves over, the sound man over. As the opening band, they completely ruined the tone of the show, the feeling of the show. They bummed people out. They are buzzkills. All because they were selfish and didn't bring proper equipment. So we're all like, well, fuck. There's a lot of people here. It's a cool room. They've just pissed that fucking sound man off. And we tried to talk to him a few times too. But he was cool with us. But now we're like, shit, he's going to be grumpy with us. We're not going to get a good sound. He was running sound, but whenever there was a in-house sound man, Seth would always like to just, be with them. A lot of times they would. But now he was worried, like, shit, he's probably not going to want me over there with him after being shit on like that. So what ended up happening was, and I have a photo of it here, I'm going to pull up in a second. Seth, the consummate professional he was, he snapped into this go mode. It was incredible. He pulls us into, there's a little tiny green room on the side. And he pulls us into the green room, not sternly, not anything, just very focused. He's like, all right. He puts us all in a circle. And I can't even remember exactly what he said. I had a few beers. But he points at me and goes, you, I need you to go do that. You, go talk to the sound man, introduce yourself. I think he said that to Sean, just be nice, make a good impression. He pointed to each and every single one of us. Very calmly, respectfully, but seriously, gave us a job to do and said, hey, if you do this, if each of you do your part, we can bring this sound man down, we can calm him down, and we can bring him back to a point where he wants to help us out. So we did, and we dispersed. We all accomplished the goals that we needed to. I really wish I could remember. It was shit like laying out cables. It was essentially making this sound man's changeover in life convenient after being pissed off by those kids. It was really just, assigning us to make his life easy. And we did it. And just as we were about to get on stage, I think all of us went up to him and said, hey man, I'm Alex, whatever our names were. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry about that bullshit you just saw there. We will not do anything like that. We made it really clear. Seth took the helm on it, calmed him down, was able to stand next to the guy and kind of just give his input, which helped our sound out. And it turned out being one of the best shows I've ever played in my life. In front of an attentive crowd that stayed for the whole set. The sound was fantastic. I think somebody bought the sound man a beer on our behalf, which calmed him down even more. It was just awesome. It was a great set. And we get finished. And the sound man comes over to us. And he expressed his gratitude at how professional we were. How professional our sound man and manager, Seth, was, especially. And just overall, like we turned a real serious negative into a positive because we were professional. And because we had somebody leading us to be professional. Sean Moore was the front man of that band. And he was very much like when we were on the road, he was the road captain because he knew how to be out on the road. But when we got to the shows, and I always love this about Sean too, he knew to, all right, let Seth, not just, he doesn't handle all the business, but he leads the business. If he needs us to do something, he never asked us to do something that was like lazy of him or was You know, like that we didn't want, I don't know. I'm trying to find the words to say it. He never asked us to do anything he wouldn't do. If he asked us to do something, it's because he needed help. And I always really appreciated that. So that's just kind of an example and a story of how you can completely fuck up a night for everybody else by being disrespectful to the soundman and the crew. And also an example of how you can bring the night back with professionalism. We forget sometimes that a little niceness, even if it's kind of put on, goes a long way. It makes everyone's life a lot easier. Don't motherfuck every person who pisses you off, especially at shows. Just if you got a problem with someone, just okay, all right, I disagree, move on. Don't ruin the night for everybody else because you're selfish. And treat your sound men with some respect. You don't know how much they're responsible for. And how little, honestly, you're responsible for. The only thing you're responsible for is not fucking up your lyrics, your drum beats, your riffs, and things like that. Your only responsibility is to, on stage, I'm not talking about everything else, I'm not talking about loaded in, loaded out writing, I'm talking about the performance itself. All you have to do is not fuck up. He or she working the soundboard. And I say sound man, I need to stop. Sound man, sound woman, sound person. Right? And my apologies. Because I do know female crew members and stuff like that. So, but with that being said, just show them respect. Be calm with them. And if they're having a bad day, don't bother them. That's it. That's my story. I might try to do more vlogs. I don't know. I just really didn't want to record a guitar video today. So maybe tomorrow we'll do some more. But as always, thank you very much for watching.